Thank you for joining me here at 60 Northbound. Today, I want to talk a bit about Highway 401, or 401 as it is known. Yes, I know that the 401 is in Ontario, and Ontario does not represent all of Canada, but more than 50% of the population of Canada resides very close to this highway. This past week in the Kingston area of the 401, a woman was driving westbound, so towards Toronto, and she crashed into the median, the concrete median that divides the direction of the 401. She got out of her vehicle, and from what I understand, very shortly after, she was struck by another motorist going the same direction. First, I'd like to express my condolences to that woman's family. It's a terrible thing to go through. My heart is with you. I also want to, let the person know who actually hit this lady that they are not alone. We're all wishing and hoping things are okay with you, and we can only imagine how traumatic that must have been. So today I did want to talk a bit about Highway 401, about maybe safety in general for highways. Please remember, I was not there. I did not witness the accident. I wasn't part of the accident. I am going on what I have read, social media, etc. Now, having heard that facts, is it true, is it not true? I don't know. But police say that 90% of the accidents, anywhere actually, not just the 401, is due to human error. So 90% is due to us. 90% is due to us. And what I did look at is what AI had suggested. So in the situation that we discussed, where someone hits on the left-hand part of the highway, because it's a 3-lane highway where this woman crashed, if you were crashing in the left lane, single vehicle crash, I reviewed AI. I reviewed just to see what would AI say. Of course, you could discuss this with the non-emergency police number or in person. But it's best if you can move the vehicle to the right-hand lane as far as possible right. Obviously, this is not always an option. So it's recommended that you stay in the vehicle. Call 911. I mean, the left-hand lane is where people are passing and they want to get somewhere quickly. Conversely, it also recommends that if you happen to see any type of accident or someone pulled over to the side, be it left or right, that you slow down. Perhaps you put your hazards on. You do whatever you can to make it as safe as possible. If it is possible to go into the other lane, so you're not as close to that vehicle that has broken down, had an accident, whatever, you should try to do that. Remember, 90% of vehicle accidents are due to human error. We're all human, and we all err. That's true, so true. Just to let you know that the Highway 401, if the widest part, and that's near the Pearson International Airport, it's it's as wide as there at 18 lanes. 18 lanes, that means 9 lanes. So 9 lanes going this way, 9 lanes going the other way. It's just incredible. Of course, we're including collectors, which often, if you're not as familiar with the 401 or the collector system, they seem to be the same because you may get on and off at various areas. So 18 lanes. It is known as one of the busiest and I guess largest freeways in the world. That is it. The average in the Toronto area is 14 to 16 lanes, and that was I was alluding to before. So it's 18 lanes at the busiest, but it's mostly 14 to 16 at the bulk of the Toronto area, Oshawa, Mississauga. Please note, for those that don't live around or near the 401, there are some areas where it's only 2 lanes each way, definitely. But where the bulk of the traffic is, where the bulk of the people live, it averages 14 to 16 lanes, and as I said, it goes up to 18 lanes. The 401 is 828 kilometers long. 828. That's 514 miles for those who may not know. And it ends at the Quebec border. And it's recognized as the transport hub between Windsor, Toronto, Montreal. So that's where all the goods sort of travel through. Lots of trucks on the road. It was fully completed in 1968, and it connects directly with the new Gordie Howe Bridge. Certainly, let's not get into that topic. I don't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. I know we all have our opinions about the Gordie Howe Bridge. Not the time or place. I thought about the 401 because of this tragic accident. And it's not a nice place to drive. I've driven it many times as a younger individual, and many times as an older individual. Don't like it. Don't like it at all. One thing I do like about it is that in the Trenton area of the 401, in 2007, 08, somewhere around there, they sort of changed the name, that part, to Highway Heroes. It's to honor the Canadian forces that sadly lost their lives in Afghanistan. So that's kind of a nice thing. And yes, please note that in some parts of the 401, McDonald-Kirche Freeway, sometimes they do give it a different name in a certain section, but overall it's the 401, and that's just what it is. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about truckers. It's estimated that there's 163,000 or so transport trucks on the road. These are those big ones. I mean, before we used to know them as 18-wheelers, but now they have way more than that even. It's terrible. I myself have seen some horrific driving skills of some of these truckers. I do not want to paint truckers with the same brush. But when I grew up, I was told that those transport truck drivers were the best drivers in the world. I believed it. I grew up that way, and that's what I knew. Today, I do not agree with that at all. Not at all. Some of them are terrible. I have been on a 3-lane part of the highway, and there's been 3 transport trucks, 1 in each lane, sort of blocking the traffic. What is that for? Now, I often hear about cars cutting off trucks, but let me tell you, I have seen a lot of things with some of these transport trucks that make me question how are they able to get their license. It's nice to know in Quebec they're working hard to ensure that the laws there are more strict with respect to truckers. As I said, I don't want to go on and on about this. It's not necessary. In the accident that I talked about, as far as I know, no trucks were involved. I just felt, because I have driven that highway many times, that I would share that truck drivers are not innocent. Thank you for watching this video of 60 Northbound. Please do share this video with people that may be interested in understanding or knowing about the 401. Please subscribe. Until next time, have a great week.